This is an Evergreen Media Network studio production. Treasure Coast Connector. Connecting residents and businesses of the Treasure Coast. And here's your host, Ellen Contreras.
Welcome to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras. Treasure Coast Connector is the talk show, an online community where we put a spotlight on interesting local businesses and resources, then connect them to you, the consumers in the community. Everyone has an interesting story of why they do what they do, and when we learn about what's happening in our own backyard and support local businesses, it strengthens our local economy. For details on the show, links to discounts, promos, past interviews, check out www.tcconnector.com. So if you've ever bought or sold a home, or you wanted to get the PMI off of your loan, or you're dealing with probate or a tax appeal or even a divorce, chances are you've needed to find out what your home is worth. And not all home appraisers are created the same. Joining me in the studio today is Kathleen Bunting, and she is the owner of Bunting Home Appraisal Services. She's got a lot of great information to share with us. So welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're here. This is a perfect time because we have a flurry of real estate things happening. People are getting ready so that way they can move in the summertime. You know how it is with a lot of people?
Yes.
They don't want to disrupt children. And
Very
then the
cyclical.
snowbirds, but the snowbirds too. They want to get settled in the summer so that they can have the fall through winter to just have fun, right?
Yes. Yep.
So this is a good time. Okay, so now before we start talking about appraisals and real estate, what made you want to get into the real estate industry? Because you have a very diverse background.
Well, my original background was in education, and then I got into real estate, and appraising was kind of a way for me to combine those two things, because in appraising, you're kind of problem solving for people, depending on what they're looking for, what they need. You're kind of giving them information to try to solve a problem or questions or whatever it may be. So it was a perfect way for me to kind of combine my background in education and real estate and all the information that I know and all the excitement stuff that I know.
Yeah, and that's wonderful. And I used to be in recruiting and staffing, so my thought is you have so many transferable skills.
Exactly.
And sometimes when we change careers, and we're doing something completely different, there's still building blocks and foundations that you bring with you.
Well, I'm still educating people, in what I do every day. I'm looking at, what are they doing? Trying to figure out, what's the best approach to this? How can I help you? What information do we need? Then I can go out and gather that information back and try to educate them on what the options might be, what we can do to help them, what the market looks like now, what it might look like a little bit down the road, so they can make the best decisions for themselves, especially regarding your home, which is the most important and most valuable asset most people have.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so now knowing the value of the home, the condo, commercial property, because you do that as well, it's important, but there are changes being made by the GSEs. Now, this is not my world, but the GSEs, there are changes being made, right?
There are.
And it is potentially putting the buyers at risk.
Right.
So what do you mean by that? What's going on here?
Fannie and Freddie, right now, as with everything else, they're trying to find a way to do things faster and, quicker. And, people buying a house, it takes a while. So they're trying to find ways to do it quicker. So they've come up with these appraisal waivers, which if it's not a huge property and, it might be something that you might want to do. An appraisal waiver lets you waive the appraisal on it. You still pay the fee to the lender, but they give you the option to waive the appraisal. But the problem is if say you got sick or you got injured in an accident down the road and you weren't able to pay the mortgage, when you take that appraisal waiver, there's no baseline value for it. So it lets the lenders they don't have to work with you to to try to mediate
Oh.
an issue, and all of a sudden they could go to a quick foreclosure. So it takes away some of the protections that you have. You know, it might save time on the short run. You know, they just would go out and use a Zillow kind of, you know, value for your house, which, you know, not the most accurate thing.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, but it allows them, you know, to move quickly ahead. But you also lose some of the protections that you have. They also are doing these hybrid appraisals now, which is where they send someone out to the house. It's not the appraiser to gather all the information. And then they give that information to the appraiser and want you to write a report from it. But the people that are going in to take all the information are not appraisers. They're not trained. They're not licensed.
They might not collect
and
the right
they're not
information.
background checked. So you don't really know who's in your home. So you have to be, you know, you have to be careful with that kind of stuff. Check the things out. Sometimes you don't even know that it's not an appraiser that's coming out. So, you know, those kinds of things. They're also, now they're talking about waiving the title insurance requirement, which is, you know, when you buy a house, you want to make sure that the person selling it to you has the right to sell it. Right. So, you know, I think in the name of progress, maybe we're taking some shortcuts that we might not. Really, might not be the best interest of consumers. So you have to be smart and look at your own situation and figure out what's best for you.
Right.
But I would suggest hiring an appraiser, you know, to come in and do it from start to finish. You know, if you know, it's your biggest investment, so you want to protect that.
Absolutely. And I had forgotten to mention in the intro that you are a state certified, licensed, and trained appraiser.
Yes. So, it takes about 3 years to become an appraiser. You have to apprentice. It takes a long time to learn the skills that it takes to be an appraiser. Yeah. You know, it's easier to become a realtor. There's a little, I think it takes about a year's worth of training to become an agent, but it takes about 3 years to become an appraiser.
Interesting.
You know, and you have to learn how to appraise all different kinds of properties. So it's a long learning process. I've been in the business for 23 years. I was a realtor and an educator before that. So I've done a little bit of everything. Houses on islands, you know, everything you could think of. I've had a little bit of experience with.
Well, very nice. So now with appraisers, I want people to understand what it is and what it isn't, because as we spoke in the green room, that the average person might go through maybe 2 or 3 transactions over their lifetime. So it means that they're kind of a novice each and every time they enter the arena.
And most people, even if you're buying a house, the real estate agent meets the appraiser. Most homeowners really have little to no interaction with an appraiser. So, you know.
Yeah, very, very scary. Oh, I'm skipping ahead of myself with the questions here. We got a lot of questions, of course.
Most of my clients are people dealing with transition, whether they're buying a new house, selling, relocating. If they're snowbirds, they're coming down and might not know the neighborhoods, might not know the market here. If someone's going, you know, dealing with probate, they may live in Chicago and their parents' house is here, and they're trying to sell it from afar, trying to figure out, you know, what's the best use of this property? Should I fix it up? Should I, you know, what should I do with it? You know, you've got people going through a divorce. They want to protect themselves by getting an appraisal so they know how much it is, so they're not, you know, they make sure that their interests are protected in the whole situation. We've got people who are trying to bring a relative over, and they have to prove that they have the assets to be able to support that person. So we do an asset valuation for them and show that they've got the assets, you know, that they can support the person. So people come to us for a million different reasons. They want to renovate their house. I could tell you what the value is right now, and if you want to make improvements, we can look at that, and I could tell you which ones will bring the most return on value to them in the process.
Yeah,
so
most people automatically think about the bathrooms and the kitchens.
Sure.
But even in those areas, there are things that I'm sure you probably said to people, that's not a good idea, that's a good idea. So if somebody has had their home for quite a while, or they are the adult child that's coming into a situation and the home might have been maintained, like repaired,
right, but it might need to be refreshed.
Haven't been
refreshed and updated. Yeah, we can go in and take a look at it, give you a list of things. You might want to do some of them, not all of them, and we can kind of figure that out. But my job, isn't just to tell you how much the house is worth, but it's to give you the information that you need to make decisions. That's, I always find myself to be a helper, and in a lot of processes, I can give you information to allow you to make choices and make decisions on what's the best thing for you to do.
Yeah. And that is true. So even if somebody, they're selling before they put it on the market, it's nice to come in and have you.
Sure, we might say that, they may have outdated countertops, but they've lived there for 30 years. And
they might be happy with it.
And they might be happy with it. But for buyers, they might want to see that. Or we might say, the colors are kind of loud. Maybe if you painted a little bit more neutral color, it might be more appealing to buyers. So, we can give people information, if things need to be fixed up. It could be an older house, and, they're just trying to get an idea of what they should do, what's going to cost too much, just trying to give people ideas. So there's a lot of, a lot of options when sometimes it's better to rent the house, right? Depending on the market. Right now, you get really good money for a rental. So that might be a smarter choice than trying to sell it too, give you time to get the work done and to do some of the other things. So.
Yeah, and then there's other issues too. I read an article about somebody in Tampa actually. She was in Pennsylvania. She wanted a young gal. She wanted to move to Tampa. She wanted to be in a warmer climate. Was happy for a while, but then her not homeowners insurance, the taxes went up in the Tampa area like dramatically, and then other things, and so tax appeals, I didn't even think about that when I saw that on your website, which, before, because Cindy's going to make us take a break, tell everybody your phone number, your website, your email address in the first half. Yeah, I know you got to read it off because you made some changes to it, but that's fine.
Anyway, my phone number is 772-252-5188.
Is it 5118 or
5188?
So I did a typo. Look at that.
Okay.
I am sorry about that. I'm going to fix that somehow.
Okay. No worries.
So 5188, and then your website?
My email is kathleenbunting@hotmail.com, and my web is buntinghomeappraisal.com.
Yeah, Bunting Home Appraisals.
Yes.
Bunting Home Appraisal Services.com. And with that, we're going to take a quick break, but stay tuned. We have a lot more to discuss. We'll be right back.
It's time to call Easy Brew Coffee and Bottled Water Service and learn just how much you can save and how convenient it is to have your coffee and bottled water delivered right to your home or office. In addition to water coolers, Easy Brew offers individual bottles of water in 8 or 16-ounce bottles. No more lugging it home or dragging it into the office. Serving the Treasure Coast for over 2 decades, 2 letters, 1 simple name. Easy for Easy Brew. Visit e-zbrew.com or call 800-792-3285. Easy Brew.
Hi, I'm Eric Flowers, your Indian River County Sheriff, and we are hiring immediately. Get involved in an exciting career and help your community thrive. Featured on Reels Channel's show On Patrol Live, the Indian River County Sheriff's Office is committed to keeping our neighborhoods safe. Open positions in law enforcement, dispatch, and corrections include benefits. Visit ircsheriff.org for more information. Get your new career started today.
At Sunshine Furniture, our 35,000 square foot showroom is filled with the largest selection of in-stock coastal furniture on the Treasure Coast. Dining and bedroom sets, occasional tables, sofas, sleeper sofas, love seats and chairs in all the latest styles and colors from Tommy Bahama, Lexington, Hooker, Riverside, Universal, Four Seasons, Braxton Color, and Capri. We're the outdoor furniture experts and have hundreds of styles of any patio furniture you need, including a gallery of Berlin Gardens and Bollywood. wood. We specialize in fire pits, outdoor rugs, umbrellas, and replacement cushions. Sunshine Furniture, 1295 US 1 in the Publix Plaza, Vero Beach. Family owned and operated since 1991. Don't forget to visit our outlet store directly across the street, filled with lots of name brand closeouts and sale items. Visit our website at sunshinefurniturecasual.com.
Sunshine Furniture, the best in every way. Ooh, have a sunshine day. Sunshine.
Welcome back to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras, and I've been speaking with Kathleen Bunting of Bunting Home Appraisal Services. There is so much that you offer, and we were just talking about that on the commercial break. So repeat all the wonderful pearls of wisdom, right? So what is it that you do for people, like the services and, kind of like just, like what is it like?
Well,
when people work with you, what can they expect is what I want to ask.
A lot of appraisers like to do just lender work, so they do that. My focus is more on private appraisal work, dealing with people going through probate. I'm a certified probate specialist. I understand the process from start to finish. I can be a help to people trying to maneuver their way through it.
Because it's confusing.
It's very confusing.
To the individual.
Especially if you've never done it before.
Emotional.
And if someone's trying to deal with a property from far away, which a lot of people have a child or a spouse or someone.
We're spread out all over the place. So you're trying to deal with something from far away.
You're unfamiliar with the market. You're unfamiliar with the vendors that are in the area, all that kind of thing. I can be a great resource to come in and help that person, help guide them through the process, help them get it to the point where they're ready to put it on the market, get it, connect them with a realtor. I do divorce, which is a complicated process that people are going through. So, there's some hand holding in some of these situations. So I like to give people as much information as they can, give them options. If you're going through a divorce, you want to make sure that your interests are protected. So we do an appraisal for that. If someone is looking to make improvements to their home, can help them figure out, what's most cost effective, things like that. People, like I said, somebody trying to bring a family member, into the country to help them out, and they need to verify that they have the assets to support the person. Somebody that's dealing with their taxes are too high, they can't afford it. Maybe there's something we could do with a tax appeal. We could take a look at the numbers and see where we are. And in a lot of cases, you can help someone. We've got student loans now. Everybody's got to pay back. Everybody's looking for a little extra money. If you can get rid of that PMI on your house, it's a couple of $100s a month that you could take then and put it towards your student loans. There's a lot of things that we can help with. I try to focus on my business. I try to focus on what I can do to be a help. What problems can I help solve? What can I be a resource for my clients? So I try to go that extra step. I choose to do more private work where I get more one-on-one time with my clients. I try to help get them as much information about what's happening in the market, where we are, where they want to be, what the best options might be for them. So,
hand-holding during this real estate transaction for a lot of us is very important.
It is, and this market is crazy and has been crazy. So, what might be so a month ago might not be the same right now.
That's true. And you're following what's happening here in Vero and the Treasure Coast, but then Connecticut too, because
I still have a business in Connecticut.
Yeah, so tell us about that, because you were snowbirding there for a while, but you're going to be doing a little less of the flying
we're going to
back
do
and
that.
forth.
I still go back and forth a little bit for business. We are primarily, focused here now, so which is nice. And I've learned a lot about the market. I worked with another appraiser for a while to get competent here, and I have a lot of data sources that I can use, and just trying to help people in any way that I can.
And what's interesting about that is working in Connecticut, which you'll still maintain and do.
I still have a business there.
Yeah, so we joke around, a lot of us, you've heard us say, the Northeast people, there's too many of you now. I'm from the Northeast. Okay, we're both from Long Island.
Everybody
right?
wants to get in that warm weather this time of year, you know.
Yeah, so we love to joke that no more New Yorkers, no more Connecticut or Jersey people are allowed. You are allowed. just be nice when you get here. Just go through the fluidification process, as I say. And learn how things are done here. But that's actually a huge asset for someone that has bought their home, especially if they bought their home decades ago, right? Mm-hmm. And then they have to sell it because they want to buy something here.
Yep.
So, you're helping your
so
Connecticut.
then you're kind of giving them some guidance on, and I've been through it myself. So you can give them some guidance on what to look for, especially if they're moving to a place that they really haven't put roots in, you know. So it's hard to know, you know, what the right thing is to do. Do you want to live, you know, in a gated community? Do you want to live in, you know, an older section of town? You know, what are you looking for? And, you know, and just a lot of things to think about.
Yeah, and some of the older homes, you know, are nice. You know, like I was telling you, I live in.
They may need some spiffing up or some sprucing up, and I can be helpful there to give you some advice on which things, you know, are going to improve the value of the home. If you're going to come in, which things, you know, can you do quickly that will, you know, make it feel more like you. Yeah.
So when it comes to kitchens. If somebody has a kitchen from the 1990s, okay,
yes,
what would you say that they should do that would help them?
Well, it depends on what they do with the kitchen. You know, some people might want a high-end kitchen, some might want just a regular kitchen. You know, it just depends. Depends on what the people's needs are.
But I mean, to put it on the market.
Oh, to put it on the market. Yeah. Well, you know, you could have the if you don't want to replace the cabinets, you could put new countertops in, new appliances in, and you could paint the cabinets. You know, there's nothing wrong with a lot of the wooden cabinets. You know, they're in good shape. Yeah. They just, you know, might not be the color that, but there's a lot. You can change hardware. You know, there's a lot of things that you can do a quick refresh on something that isn't going to cost you $1 million. You know?
Yeah. And how about bathrooms? What can be done to a bathroom that isn't crazy over the top, but would really help?
Well, sometimes you change out you know, if there's tiles on the wall, if it's, you know, whatever you've got as a surround on the walls, sometimes putting a glass shower frame in, you know, kind of give it a new look, changing out the sink and the vanities. I mean, there's a lot of things that you could do. It just depends on what kind of money somebody wants to spend, what they like, you know, and and every market is also different. So you have to know, you know, what's popular in the market. You know, we look and see, you know, in this area, you know, you don't want to over improve it either and spend money that you're not going to get back out of it. Right. You know, if it's a high end home, obviously you want to do a high end kitchen.
Well, yes.
But if it's a middle grade home, you know, you may be able to sell it the way it is. You may be able to do some refreshing that isn't going to cost a lot of money. So it depends on the house. It depends on the location. Okay. People always like, how much of an adjustment will I get for a garage? And it depends on the neighborhood. Depends on the market. Yeah. You know, a pool in Florida can, you know, can add thousands to a house, whereas up north, it can be a detriment. You know, people don't, you know, you use it 2 months out of the year. They want all the maintenance and the upkeep, you know, so.
And there is a lot of that.
Yeah. So, you know.
Yeah. So now tell everyone that's listening on iHeartRadio and the podcast how they can get in touch with you.
Well,
because we're about to wrap up. I can't believe it. Cindy's making us do this.
Well, you can reach out to me. My phone number is 772-252-5188. My email is kathleenbunting@hotmail.com, and you can find me on the web. It's buntinghomeappraisalservices.com.
All right. Very good. So thank you so very much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, because you know what? People do need to be handheld during real estate
Sometimes, sure.
transactions, you know, and knowing that you know, can do that for them makes all the difference. You know, nobody wants that bum rush feeling.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely
So-
not. I'm here to help people with whatever their needs are. I'm happy to take the extra time and spend it with them. So.
Well, very good. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So for everyone that's listening and watching, my name is Ellen Contreras. I'm the host of Treasure Coast Connector. I hope that you reach out to Kathleen because she wants to help you. And I hope that you have a safe, wonderful, productive week. And until next week, I miss you already.